Welcome, Nerd Nation, to this latest edition of the Sports Nerd Show. We are a collection of sports nerds whose mission is to bring you as much sports talk as time allows over the next 60 minutes. Although we will strive to be highly informative and equally as entertaining over the next hour, we must warn you that there may be some customers along the way. But we don't give a damn because that is the way most humans in the real world tend to talk, and we, the sports nerds, are no exception. So without further ado, Nerd Nation, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as I present to you the founder and host of this crazy-ass show, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright.
You are looking live at another episode of the Sunday Night Sports Nerds. I am your host, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright, coming to you live from Lakeland, Florida. And along with my co-host tonight, Mr. Producer Elliot Big E Lamba, Ken, Mr. Hotspot Coslow, and, of course, Wayne, the Professor Lynch. How about that? I got it right this time, guys. I'm impressed with myself. Tonight, we're going to discuss what week that was in the world of sports, the top stories, and at times the not-so-top stories. So buckle up, grab a beverage, and enjoy. We are live each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you do miss the live broadcast, you can watch the replays on Spotify, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and on the blockchain via Peak D. Gentlemen, welcome to Week 12 of the NFL schedule. Now, let me just say this. If you were to go back to, say, Wednesday this week and look at the lineup for this weekend's games, in your mind, you're thinking, God, this weekend's going to be terrible. It's going to suck. The games aren't even going to be close. Well, stupid us. Guess what happened? The 1 o'clock games today provided some of the most exciting football, especially Dallas and Washington, Ken.
That fourth quarter was nauseating.
What's that?
I said that fourth quarter was nauseating watching the special team from the Commanders.
You get dizzy watching that fourth quarter because it was going back and forth all the time.
I've been watching football for more than 50 years. I do not believe I've ever seen a fourth quarter quite like that.
Well, it was 3-3 at halftime.
3-3 at halftime.
It was 10-9 at the start of the fourth quarter.
And then, at 34-26.
And then the special teams got involved on the positive side for Dallas and on the negative side for the Commanders.
Yep.
The sweet spin move by Turpin. I got to hand it to him.
That was a hell of a spin move.
That was a good.
That is the kickoff return of the season, bar none. Yes. I love that the Pearl Monroe spin he put on it. And when he took off, you can forget it. You ain't catching him. So
yeah, once he got the crease, it was over.
Oh,
Washington did everything they could to give that game away.
They did. I thought they were going to.
Yeah. Washington, I don't know what the hell happened with them today.
They were
didn't start playing until the fourth quarter.
Well, let me just say this.
They were in a giving mood.
Let me just say this in regards to, we mentioned special teams. The special teams in that game today has had a block field goal, a block punt, 3 missed field goals, 2 missed extra points, a 99-yard kickoff return, and an onside kickoff return for a touchdown. That was all in the fourth quarter.
All in the fourth quarter.
It was 24-17.
Special teams day.
Yeah, with that list you just read, all you missing now is a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, it is the holiday season.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
But that was just insane. And yeah, that kickoff return by Turpin. I mean, even though the Commanders lost that game, that was just some insane. That spin move was straight out of place. It was straight out of Madden. It was just amazing.
12 minutes of nonsense. That's what that was.
Yes, that's right. And the onside kick return for a touchdown was the first one I've seen in, I believe, 48 years.
I mean, but he didn't need to return it. He could have just.
He didn't need to return it, but I'm glad he did.
He got down, and they could have run the clock out. But
it was the adrenaline.
Hey, if you see an opening, take it and grab it. He did.
Exactly. This is my time to shine right now.
That's right. You ain't you ain't putting any smoke on mine. So
Damn logic. Logic be damned.
I'll be the first to admit we needed that one. We needed that one badly.
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, they've lost the last 5 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you know what? The Commanders have now lost 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
I think 3 in a row.
They're metamorphosing into the football team of Redskins again.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're doing the Benjamin Button. They're going backward.
Right.
They're going backwards, is what you're saying?
They're going
They're
backwards.
going backwards.
They started out
finally remembering who they really are.
Yeah, they started out a
Finally
house
hit
of
that
fire.
fork in the road and got fucked.
Yeah.
Imagine what the Eagles are feeling like now.
Oh, the Eagles are saying thank you, Dallas, very much for that win today. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Thanks for that.
you're welcome.
I mean, who would have thought that we'd be watching a Cooper Rush, Tommy DeVito Thanksgiving Day? That's just disgusting. They should cancel Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah, that's
No, it's,
you know, my folks don't watch football, so I'm not going to be afraid that I missed that game on Thursday. I'm just going to say that right now.
The Bears and Detroit game ain't going to be any good either.
No, it's not. What's the nightcap? What's the nightcap?
Dolphins and Packers.
Dolphins.
That'll be a little bit better. That'll be a little bit better.
Tad bit, not much.
Not much. It might be nauseating.
I believe NBC is showing a replay of the Macy's Thanksgiving parade during the Cowboys game. that may be a ratings bonanza right there.
There you go.
And then the Black Friday. Well, you know what? That brings me to this.
Amazon's doing Black Friday with the Chiefs.
I honestly believe now, and I mean, changing my mind if you think I'm wrong, that the Kansas City Chiefs look beatable.
Oh, yeah, they did today. Hell yeah.
This is Carolina we're talking about. It ain't Buffalo.
You said they look pitiful?
Carolina almost took them out.
Yeah.
They look beatable. Yeah, definitely.
They're definitely beatable.
If they can't put up anything like better than what they did today against Carolina, they're going to get got once the playoffs get in.
They're going to get got on Friday. The Raiders play themselves all the time.
I think, yeah,
They beat them last year.
Yeah, the Raiders are going to
Christmas
get
Day
on Friday. Yeah, the Raiders are going to get them on Friday.
That's in Vegas, isn't it?
I'm sorry, nobody can sit up here. I'll be watching Get Up and First Take, and they're all, Kansas City is the team. That's the one you got to bet on, blah, blah, blah. Their record is not as good as their team is.
No, it's not.
No.
It doesn't
the team is not as good as their record. That's probably what you meant.
They're probably the worst 10-1 team I've ever seen.
The worst 10-1 team of all time.
Yeah.
And again, I just don't see how Carolina, really? Bryce Young?
They're doing it with mirrors. They're doing it with smoking mirrors.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, Elliot. My opinion is that Bryce Young, ever since he got benched and came back, has been playing a lot better.
Well, you know why? Because he knows what it's like to sit.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel good. And so he started taking the game more seriously. Because he didn't want to go back to the bench.
That and the fact that he's got all the veterans around him on that team.
He didn't want to have to go back to the bench. So he's playing his ass off to make sure that doesn't happen. He got a taste of bench life, and he didn't like it.
Right.
And now he's doing something about it. You know what I'm saying? And he's got Adam Thielen back now, too, so that helps him out some.
Well, Thielen was one of the guys that went to him and started working with Bryce when he came back. I mean, he was working with him when he was sitting down and talking to him and coaching him up a little bit and saying, look, you don't just just do your thing. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just go all out and be you. And that's what he's been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And he's been great. He's really coming along. I mean, that touchdown he threw today, that in the last part of the game, the guy was covered and he still fed it in there, got threaded in there.
That was a dart, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
That was a dart that he threw. But
Hey, Brett, good to see you, bud.
I saw a pretty funny meme that said, "Wouldn't it be ironic and funny if the Dallas Cowboys claimed Daniel Jones off waivers and played him on Thursday against the Giants?"
Someone suggested that.
Well, Daniel Jones did get released, and he does go and he clears waivers tomorrow. And there's been
he says he wants to go to a
Three
contender.
places have been mentioned as a possibility for him.
Miami.
Minnesota to back up Darnold.
Yep.
Okay. Baltimore to back up Lamar.
Yeah.
Because if anything ever happens to Lamar, they're gonna need some halfway competent quarterback.
Right.
Which
Miami
he is,
Herald.
but, I just still think he can play under the pressure of New York. That's what got him.
No.
And the third team is the Raiders.
Well, now
Everybody
Minshew just went into the locker room, so he's hurt, so they may pick him up.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah. So
I mean,
he'll wind up with somebody. But I just thought it was funny that they made that suggestion that Dallas pick him up playing against the Giants on Thursday. And he wins.
I think it was Annie Agar that suggested that.
Yes. It sounds like something she would do.
Mm-hmm.
Brett says the Chiefs don't have a top 5 defense, and it looks like the offense is predictable. Well, yeah.
Yep. I would have to agree with that.
Well, the offense was halfway okay today, but then again, it was Carolina. They're not a measuring stick for whether your offense is really that good, But for their defense, which is supposed to be so great, okay, they gave up 27 points to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers.
They got smoked today.
Yeah, guys.
Dog riot.
Yeah,
Someone must be at the front door. All right, my turn, guys. Thursday night, Browns Steelers. I had no hopes whatsoever going into this game Thursday night, only because of how bad the Browns have been lately. But I'll tell you what, that defense, especially Myles Garrett, they really stepped up and just gave. Your
12th man your 12th man reared its head once again.
Snow is our 12th man. Yes.
Nasty ass bitch weather. That's what happened.
Yep.
Okay, because without that weather, you guys would have lost.
All right. You know what? George Pickens needs to shut his fucking mouth. I'm just saying. Okay.
Right.
Because they both had the weather conditions. They both had to suffer through the weather conditions.
He complained about the weather.
Yeah.
But so what? He said that they're not that good. Do you not agree that they're not that good?
You're right. I agree with that.
Okay. So if you agree with that, how can you justify telling him to shut the fuck up?
Because he said the only reason they won was because of the weather. That's not
Of
true.
course. That's how Cleveland wins their games at home. Because of the weather, especially at this time of the year. Come on now. They've beaten teams that weren't supposed to lose there at all, including Pittsburgh.
And that's why I wish we would not put a dome in Cleveland, because we need to have that open air stadium.
Came in and ruined the
No
whole
one will
damn.
ever prove that.
And again, that's why I said I don't want a dome in Cleveland. I want an open air stadium right on the lake where the weather does help.
And Cleveland wants a dome so they can host a Super Bowl. Who do you think's going to win out, you or them?
Yeah, well, it's going to be Jimmy Haslam. I know that, but still.
Because it'd probably be the only way they could get a Super Bowl in Cleveland.
Now, wait a minute.
Is to have a dome.
New York got that Super Bowl, and they all thought that was going to be a snow game too, and it was perfect weather that week.
There's a difference between New York and Ohio.
especially off Lake
Okay.
Erie, Ken. Lake
Oh,
Erie.
Lake Erie?
Yeah.
It's lake effect snow,
It's
yeah.
a major difference because Jersey, where Meadowlands sits, there's not a whole lot of bodies of water around it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well, the
saying?
Hudson is right there, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but that's nothing as
That's
like
not
a
the
Lake
ocean, it's a
Erie
lake,
coming
yeah.
off the northern border, and you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You know, they don't get the lake effect
Lake
snow,
Erie.
no.
The recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And yes, they did get lucky, but then again, 44 degrees isn't what they usually want to play in a Super Bowl, right? They try to play in areas where it's 70 degrees or climate control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, it comes down. I understand what you're saying about, but this is evolution, Scott.
Yep.
This is stuff that we grew up with, and we grew up with a lot of different stuff that's gone and been replaced by other things.
Right. But let me just say this. Pittsburgh's offense has been suspect all season long. They can't score in the red zone.
That's
again,
because
go back to last week when they beat the Ravens. They took 6 field goals and they didn't score a touchdown in that game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they beat Atlanta with 6 field goals.
Yeah. So they
You know
have
what I'm saying?
trouble getting in the end zone from the red zone constantly
Why?
all season long.
Why? No. When Fields was in the lineup, he had a pretty good red zone.
So now you're blaming Russ for this because he can't get a
Russ's strength is throwing deep balls.
Yeah.
Once he gets into that red zone, it changes the whole dynamic.
Because he's not good short or over the shoulder or
He's not a good touch. He doesn't have a good touch or anything like that.
right.
Mm.
And you can't throw moon balls from the 20-yard line. You know
Throw
what
them
I'm
in
saying?
the parking lot, but that's about it.
I did
So-
love the 4th down. 16.
And he doesn't have he doesn't give you the opportunity to have his legs make up for a broken play or something like that, where Justin Fields does.
Well,
You see,
hats
so-
off to Miles
Well, you
Garrett.
see
He got
that-
3 sacks in the first half, and hats off to Jameis for putting in a motivational game together. Especially
That's
that
why
touchdown he scored in the 4th quarter. I mean, the dude just took off and ran in and took the blow and landed on his back in the end zone. That was a hell of a fucking run.
Hats off to Jerry Jeudy too.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jerry
good
Jeudy
ball down.
and
Ball down.
Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb for scoring 2
Chubb.
touchdowns on the ground.
Yep. There are a lot of game balls to go around for that game.
I mean, Nick Chubb. Last time they played Pittsburgh last time he played Pittsburgh was in Pittsburgh, and that's the night he went down
Mm-hmm.
with that ACL tear.
Right.
He comes back, beats Pittsburgh with 2 rushing touchdowns. He was a friggin' workhorse. I mean, he didn't break off a lot of long runs, but he was very. I mean, the touchdowns alone. And I tell you what, Jameis is coming into his own in Cleveland. He's really getting ready, comfortable in the offense. And if the Browns do draft a quarterback,
how do you explain his performance in New Orleans
I can't.
if he's doing so good?
I don't know. I mean, he's
It's
got a
New
better
Orleans.
record than
You can't
Deshaun
explain
Watson
New
does.
You can't explain New Orleans.
Oh, so we're setting low bars now, huh?
I mean, he's
Better
2-2
record
in this
than
offense.
Watson?
He's
Dude,
2-2.
I know a one-armed guy that has a better record.
I'll say this. In the last 2 weeks, Jerry Jeudy has looked the best I've seen him play in more than 3 years.
He and Winston
He
have a
looks like
really
he's
good
having
connection.
fun again.
He and Winston have a really good connection.
You develop a rapport, and also Cedric Tillman went out of that game.
Mhm.
So he had to pick up that slack too. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And Joku dropping touchdowns. Luckily,
But I'll tell you what, the 2-point conversion was a friggin' great catch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nice.
yeah, but it still doesn't make up for dropping a fucking touchdown.
I mean, it was right in his freaking hands. I was sitting there going, "Oh my God, Dan, what are you doing?" So yeah.
Exactly. Maybe if he colors his hair one color, he might not have that problem.
Oh Jesus! Now he's going after me. Oh. Well, I'm
How's
so
it going,
glad
Tim?
Derek's not here. I'd be sitting here stewing, but that's okay. Because Derek would find any reason to blast the Browns that he could find.
has
But I'm
been.
happy they won the game.
He actually doesn't have to look really hard.
No, he doesn't. I know that, but that's good. But I'm very happy.
That shit comes a dime a dozen, you know.
Oh, but yeah, I'm really glad that the game was came out to where it was. We play Cincinnati next week, so we'll see if they can keep the momentum going. It's in Cincinnati, but we'll see. All right, moving on. Since I got
you guys usually play well in Cincinnati, don't you?
No, we play better at home against the Bengals than we do away.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're at least competitive in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we are.
Well, you went to Baltimore and won, didn't you?
No, we beat Baltimore and Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Still
they were in
divisional
Cleveland.
game, so anything.
Then I rest my case. You guys can only win in Cleveland.
Wow.
And if the weather's bad, you're guaranteed to win.
Who needs Derek when I got Elliott?
That's right.
Uh-huh. All right.
Now he ain't here because we be tag teaming.
Right. All right. The 1:00 games today. Let's start with the Bucks and the Giants. See, I'm on ESPN. Just want to let you know that. Okay. I mean, that game ended up being what we thought it would be. Baker did the Tommy DeVito in the end zone.
Tommy Cutlets.
The Tommy Cutlets in the end zone.
Yeah.
And that was about the most exciting thing in the whole game.
Yes, and you know what? It was a snoozer, but I'm loving me some Baker Mayfield. I'm loving watching him again.
When he was running downfield, the big blocks for Buck.
Yeah, you see that? That was great. That was great.
Yeah, he's got some guts. I'll tell you what.
You know, he's one of the most exciting characters in the game. You know, not just on the field, but off it as well. But yeah, I love Baker. All right, moving on.
Just keep him out of commercials, yo. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Keep him away from commercials.
No progressive commercials in Tampa. Thank you very much.
I think that little bit of celebrity thing might have tainted his way of thinking.
Well, of course, and you know what? The other thing, he just became a new dad too.
Well, yeah, that changes the dynamic.
It changes
as well.
perspective on
But I'm
everything.
just saying, can you imagine if he would have been doing that progressive crap, what he could have done in Cleveland? If he was just focused on football?
I think the problem in Cleveland was not only that, but the fact that I don't think he and Stefanski got along.
I just think that he's just look, when you split your loyalties, you can't expect positive results. The most positive results you possibly can.
He's doing a lot of charity work down here too. So
he was splitting, but charity work. He's not on TV. He's not trying to be a celebrity.
Right.
Okay.
He and his wife are doing a lot of good charity work. They just had a baby not too long ago, and he is focused on football, and that's what counts.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
He wasn't focused on football in Cleveland. Once he did well as that first season, and then he started doing progressive commercials. Yeah. His career went.
It's because his first two seasons he came out of nowhere and did well the first two seasons.
Right. So that's when then progressive came in, which by the way, that's what the field is named.
Yep.
Okay.
Not
they
anymore.
Came in and said,
no,
hey.
Progressive Field is the Guardians, not the Browns.
Okay, well, whatever.
Progressive Field is the Guardians, not the Browns, but yeah.
Well, okay, but Progressive is a part of Cleveland.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in fact, the headquarters for Progressive.
They're a player in Cleveland.
The headquarters for Progressive is in Ohio. Yes, so
they saw an opportunity with Baker Mayfield, and of course, Baker, sure, why not? You know.
But see, the thing is,
redneck with no real exposure.
After what he did when he was in Oklahoma and he planted that flag in the middle of Ohio Stadium,
It made a lot of friends.
Yeah, he didn't make a lot of friends there, and I think a lot of Browns fans didn't want him to come in there anyway, so they remembered that. And I
Well, you
think it
guys
was a
remember
bad
when he was
idea to
drafted?
bring
I
him
was
into
not happy with him being
Cleveland.
drafted number 1 overall with the Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, but the first 2 seasons he turned me around, and now this year
Yeah.
with the Bucks, he's turned me around again. So
Mhm.
Well, new child and plus just wisdom of age comes into play, maturity, if you will. And so he looks a lot better in
and you gotta
Tampa
love
Bay
the way
than
he
he does
plays. He
in,
puts his
than he did
body
in
on the
Cleveland.
line. He goes out, goes. I mean, with the way he carries the football when he's running, and I mean today again, like Elliot said, he ran down and blocked for his running back, followed his running back down the field, and threw a block.
2 of the better quarterbacks in the league today actually were on the Carolina Panthers at the same time. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Okay, because Darnold's been balling too. You know, he's a different player now. Why? Because he
Yeah,
played in
scared
the
Minnesota.
pit of
He
hell.
got hurt.
He played
got
in the
hurt
pit
like-
of hell that is Carolina. Then he
Well,
played in an
yeah,
offense.
but he played in the pit
Then
of
he went
hell
to
in
San
New York.
Francisco. No. New York is
His
just
career started in New York.
I understand that, but his career was shit in New York because that's usually what happens to quarterbacks in New York. Okay, I'm saying him and Baker were on Carolina at the same time. So the factor there is that it seems to me that if you're a scrub and you play for Carolina, you leave there, you're going to be good somewhere else.
Yep. Denver just beat New Orleans or Las Vegas. Denver's
it's over?
7-5.
They're the quietest 7-5 in the league.
No kidding. They
I'll
made
tell
it
you
the
what.
most dangerous 7-5 in the league.
Bo Nix is having a rookie of the year season.
25 of 42 for 273 and 2 TDs.
Yep.
What was the final?
29-19.
Yep.
29-19. Yeah.
And the Packers and the 49ers have come to a merciful end, if you're wondering. So
Thank goodness.
You know why it wasn't
You know what?
merciful? Why it was not unmerciful for me?
You get Brandon Allen at quarterback today, guys.
I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Brandon Allen
saying?
at quarterback was not going to be positive for you guys today. I'm just saying.
Look, Brandon Allen not a quarterback. Brock Purdy on the bench.
Yep.
Nick Bosa on the bench.
Yep.
Guys that should be there. Ayuk gone for the season.
Yep.
Trent Williams.
McCaffrey's still trying to get up to speed.
And Trent Williams
You know,
was the big loss on the defensive line today, too.
Trent Williams not there either.
Yep.
I mean, Kittle barely made it there. He was questionable all week, but he made a contribution.
Yep.
But I wasn't, you know what? I wasn't thinking anything else but that. You know,
I made a bunch of mistakes on special teams, too.
The
Because
football gods are not
Debo-
smiling on us this season.
Right.
Debo
But I'm okay with that.
return.
But I'm okay with that because that just means I'll have to root for Buffalo when it's all said and done.
Except next week.
Yeah,
That's next week, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a big game for Frisco.
If-
I mean,
well,
if Brock
hopefully
Purdy
Purdy's
comes
there.
back, if you get Brock Purdy back, you might have a bit of a chance. But is it in Buffalo?
Yes.
It's in Buffalo.
So you're gonna deal with the elements off
The
Lake Erie,
weather,
the weather off Lake Erie,
West
because
Coast-
Buffalo gets the
A
stuff off
West
Lake Erie,
Coast
too.
team
No, they're not
trying
going
to
to beat
deal with
Buffalo
East
in
Coast
Buffalo.
weather. Tell me about that,
Yeah.
especially when you're undermanned.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I said,
Seattle-
I'm not making
Seattle
no.
beats Arizona, and now Seattle has control of the division.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Sorry, Ken. You dropped for some reason. You clicked the wrong button.
I did.
Isn't that something? Who would have thought? Seattle.
They got control of the division by one game right now. So
Yep. And the Rams play the Eagles tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Anyway.
that should be. I mean, again, there weren't a lot of games. I mean, you got the Eagles and the Rams tonight, and the Chargers and the Ravens tomorrow night.
Yep.
The
That ought to be
Harbaugh
good.
Bowl.
The Harbaugh Bowl.
Yep.
Harbaugh.
John's up 2-0, isn't he?
John's up like 4-0. I think he beat him 4 times. Maybe was in
2-0.
Was it 2-0?
2-0, I believe. Yeah. Including Super Bowl.
Brett asked about C.J. Stroud. I was going to talk about C.J. Stroud. He had a very bad game today against Tennessee.
CJ regressed, dude. He's regressed. It took him a lot longer to regress. Not like Caleb Williams, who's regressed pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, Caleb didn't have a bad game today. He played pretty well against
Look, man, in that overtime when he took that freaking sack.
Yeah, he stood there for like 10 seconds with nobody coming out.
That lost them the game.
Yes.
It's not so much.
Damn ball.
It's not so much what he could do from a physical standpoint. He cost them from a mental standpoint.
I mean, he needed to run out of the pocket and throw the ball away because he couldn't get to anybody. That's what he should have done.
Running plays like that in the NFL don't work like they do in college.
No.
Okay. He can't be sitting in that pocket for 5, 7, 10 seconds.
Right.
And think he's going to get away with something.
Nope.
Yep.
You know?
I agree.
So mentally, he's regressing or he's reverting back to the mentality he had at USC.
But you can't do that, though.
He can do whatever.
He's get away with button too.
Yeah, that his way is the best way.
It's not.
No, it's not. And because Chicago doesn't know how to train and nurture and make good quarterbacks.
Well, Eberflus should have been criticized and he fired a long time ago because of the situation.
So in the end, Caleb Williams is doing shit. So it wasn't just Justin Fields, okay?
Right.
Because it wasn't Justin Fields' fault.
No, because
he got Caleb Williams, and now they're ruining him too.
Because Fields went to Pittsburgh and he played pretty good for the first 4 games of the season before Russ came back. Okay, it's the Chicago coaching staff that is screwing these quarterbacks up, and that's been the history of Chicago forever.
That's their history. That's their DNA. That's their MO.
That's more than the coaching. That's the ownership too. That's
an organizational issue.
Yes,
that's the whole culture. Their whole culture is not.
The culture that they built is that they ruin quarterbacks.
Kind
of like Cleveland.
Yeah, don't remind me.
So, and I'm interested to see what Daniel Jones is going to do when he plays on another team, gets another chance. Because part of me believes that he's got talent. He just doesn't have the mentality to play in New York.
Well, and you know what? The Giants haven't had a really good quarterback since Eli left either. So
that's because Eli was too stupid, okay, to give a fuck about the press. His ignorance kept him from letting the press get to him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas some people can't. How many times have you seen? I've seen pictures on the Yankees that look like dog shit on our team, but when they leave and go somewhere else, they do pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the pressure in New York is like no other. That's why the song says, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah, the press in New York is brutal. They really are. They're hard on anybody.
Well, Anthony Edwards said the other day that he wouldn't want to play in New York because if he has one bad night, it'll be 2 months of being booed by all the fans.
Yeah, well, and there was another thing.
That's about right. That's about right.
That's why he won't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Hang on a second.
The New York thing is, like I said, it's pressure.
Right.
Whether it's in baseball, football, you can see the pressure that these people are under. Everybody thought Brett Favre was going to go into New York and make these big waves. Everybody thought Aaron Rodgers. Look, even Hall of Fame quarterbacks can't exercise the demon that there is in New York. And you know why that is? Because they play in New Jersey. They're not really New York teams. Okay.
Thank you, Rosanna Dan.
They're not actually New York
for
teams.
someone from New Jersey.
And you see, that's why both organizations are ignorant as hell. Because ignorance it spreads in New Jersey. It's contagious. It's a contagion. Once you live in New Jersey, your ignorance is on full display. Looks like Scott took off. Maybe he hit the wrong button.
We need to call him Hotspot now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, he did say before the show that he was having internet issues.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So he put out the disclaimer beforehand. I get that.
Yeah, Bryce Young is definitely playing better for the Panthers. That's what my brother just posted in Facebook.
Yes.
If you can hang with Kansas City, as we stated, the worst 10-1 team in the NFL.
Oh yeah, they are.
They're the only 10-1 team in the NFL, but they're the worst.
No, Detroit.
No, Detroit is
That's right.
10-1.
Detroit's 10-1.
Detroit's
That's right.
10-1.
They are
That's
much
correct.
better 10-1 team.
They're
than
much
Kansas.
better than Kansas City, definitely.
Detroit
yeah.
is a 10-1 team that's rolling. Kansas City is a 10-1 team that literally should be at least 7-4, if not 6-5.
Exactly.
I think we got a
And
Detroit Buffalo game.
Detroit's 10-1 for the first time since 1934.
Huh?
Detroit's
I think
10-1 for the first time
we
since
have a-
1934.
I think we have a Detroit Buffalo
90
matchup
years.
in our future. Don't we?
Do what?
Detroit Buffalo.
Detroit Buffalo. There's this game on the schedule
Mhm.
coming up with Detroit
Yep.
and Buffalo.
Yep.
Could be.
I'm back. I told you guys I had internet issues this week.
Oh, were you gone?
Buffalo, Detroit, Baltimore, who knows?
Were you gone?
Yes, I was gone. You know I was
Oh,
gone.
okay.
Come on.
Thanks for telling me because I didn't notice. If you wouldn't have told me that, I would still be in the dark. You know what I'm
Go,
saying?
go fuck
There
yourself,
he
Elliot.
is.
I'm just gonna say that.
Alakazam.
Yeah, I may end up losing myself again here today. It depends on my connection. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I'm gonna have to call Spectrum and see what's going on.
That's half your problem right there.
Yeah, the Spectrum. Yes, I know.
Well, like I said earlier, and I'm calling it now, the Raiders will be Kansas City on Black Friday.
You're gonna call it. The Raiders are gonna after their performance today against Denver. You're gonna
You're going to have to play a lot.
Yeah,
better than
they were looking forward. They were looking forward to the Kansas City game on Friday. So
Trust me, they hate Kansas City.
They hate
They
Kansas
hate
City.
Kansas
They
City
hate
more
Kansas
than
City. That's a fact.
now. Is that game gonna be in
You got
Kansas
good.
City or is it gonna be in
Oh,
Vegas?
hey, it's going to be in Vegas, I believe.
I think it's
I think
Vegas.
it's Vegas, yeah.
Trust me. Okay.
And that's a 2:00
There's
start,
certain
too.
teams that have a hatred for just one other team.
Mm.
And for the Raiders, playing Kansas City is their annual Super Bowl.
Right.
Nope, it's in Kansas City.
They don't.
Okay.
It's in Kansas
Either
City.
way, they beat them in Kansas City last year.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I'm still taking the Raiders.
Mm.
I'm taking the Raiders
Man,
too.
why?
I'm taking the Raiders.
I'm just saying when they come
Well-
up against real good teams, it's their luck.
Kansas City is vulnerable. I will say that
They're
they
very
are
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
Mm. I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
I mean, if it's a 4:00 start, Ken, that means it's going to be almost a night game for Kansas City, and that place gets friggin'
No,
rocked,
it's 2:00 Kansas City time.
which
Yeah.
is
12
okay.
p.m.
Which
on,
is
on
Single
12
time,
p.m.
man.
on the West Coast for me. So,
Yeah.
So it's 4 o'clock Eastern.
By the time the game's
no,
over,
that's on Black Friday, right?
yeah,
That's
that's on
Friday,
Friday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Hang on.
Of course, they've been going up against a bunch of college games, so
It's on it's on Prime.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Amazon.
I wonder how much money Amazon's losing on
All
this.
right, so it's going to be 3:00 Eastern time here. So
right.
okay,
Right. So it'll be 1 o'clock here and 12 o'clock where you're at.
Mhm.
Wayne.
yes,
Yep.
yeah, I'm going to miss that game too.
Yeah, I
'cause
put
it'll
all
be-
the time zones on the banner. Just so nobody's confused, you know.
No. Cleveland
I
has.
told Scott if he would have just taken a look at the banner all week, he wouldn't have missed the show last week at 5.
All right,
There
I
you
take
go.
that back. The Browns are not playing Cincinnati. They're playing in Denver Monday night.
Browns in Denver.
Yes,
Wow.
Monday night.
God, I hope it's not like that last primetime Browns Denver game. What was the score, like 12
Well,
to
we'll
9? Well, it's going to be two of the top defenses, so it should be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, it should be. Should be.
Take the under, whatever it is.
There you go.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, I like to take this moment to say how happy I am to see Alabama finally lose 3 games in a season. I know.
Let's get into that. Yes.
They lost again?
Alabama. They got
They did.
smacked.
Alabama
They
did
got
lose.
smoked.
Yes, they lost to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Thank you very much, Ken.
24-3.
Yeah, and they got smoked. They didn't just lose; they got smoked. So
It's the fewest points they've scored in 20 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
Alabama.
they dropped 6 spots in the rankings. They're down to 13, so they're the first team out of the playoff if we were to start today.
Right.
Well, that's based on AP. That's not based on those idiots.
Well,
in
it's
the
AP,
room.
right? Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's not based on the idiots in the room who's going to vote them in anyway.
Right.
Well, if they lose a 4th game, then the people will start raising
Right.
Cain. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You can't put Alabama in if they have 4 losses. Period.
Yep. And Ken, let me bring this up real quick.
That's gonna hit
Indiana is who we thought they were. Okay.
Yeah,
the
I'm afraid
credibility,
so.
the credibility of that particular
I'm afraid so.
committee.
Indiana needed to at least be competitive in that game, either win or be competitive in that game, and they were neither.
Special
Well,
teams won that
one
game,
quarter.
Ken. It was the
Yeah.
punt teams,
Punt return.
and they
Mhm.
and the
Muffed,
muff,
muffed,
the muff,
Yeah.
of the
Punt
punt.
block,
muff
too.
snap, the muff snap.
Yeah,
Mhm.
They were overwhelmed by the moment.
yeah.
Mhm.
Special teams
They
won
were.
and lost that game.
Had they played at home, maybe it might be a different story. But to actually play at Ohio
Mhm.
State,
Yeah, they got rolled up. They got rolled up bad.
And Ken mentioned to me this morning that he went to church, and the very first song to open up this morning is a song by the name of Carmen, Ohio, which happens to be Ohio State's alma mater song.
Alma mater. Well, the hymn is a different name, but the melody is Carmen,
Yes.
Ohio. So
Yes, so
it's their alma mater.
he's
so
going to be having nightmares all week because
I will.
it is rivalry week, and they're going to play in the Horseshoe. And Michigan is a shell of itself from last season, and I don't think it's going to be pretty, Ken. I really don't.
Must applaud you. I must applaud you. You did say Michigan. Thank you.
Does that surprise you though about Michigan this season?
No, because
I'm
Jim
not-
Harbaugh left it in a
No.
mess.
Well, he
No, we
left,
lost a
and
bunch of
like I
players.
said, half the rosters in the NFL.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, plus
So-
The one player that I was hoping to see to play today, I didn't see anything from him today. That Mike Sainstrel.
Yep.
I didn't see him do anything. So
no, he didn't really do a lot.
I love him. I love the way he plays. I wish he'd gone to the Cowboys. But
Well, I'm
Good
glad
deal.
my thing is muted, so I don't have to listen to what Tom Brady's saying about the game.
I am so over Tom Brady being in the booth. It's not funny. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
No, he's
does
not
it.
Tony Romo, that's for sure.
As far as I'm concerned, Joe Davis and Greg Olson should be the lead team for Fox.
Absolutely.
He's not even talented enough for radio.
Right.
He could be ham radio, I guess. He could be
Yeah.
ham.
Yeah, Joe Davis, who locally calls the Dodgers games
Mhm.
during baseball season. But yeah, he and
He
Greg
was
Olson
also,
should be the lead
Fox's
team.
number one baseball when he number one baseball. He took over for
Joe Buck.
Joe Buck.
Yeah, he
he
and
was
John
good.
Smoltz are the lead for
Right.
baseball.
Right.
Fuck a book.
Yeah.
But going back to college, it was a pretty tumultuous week for teams wanting to get into the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana drops 5 spots. Alabama drops 6 spots. Ole Miss loses to Florida and drops 6 spots. BYU loses to Texas. Is it Texas Tech or Texas A&M?
BYU?
No,
Yeah.
it was Texas. It was
Arizona
Texas
State. Excuse me, it was Arizona
It
State.
was Arizona State, yeah.
No, I was going to say Texas A&M lost. Texas A&M
Penn
lost
State
last
lost to
week to
Auburn.
Auburn.
Yeah,
Penn State
Texas A&M
really
loses to
overtime.
Auburn.
4
And then we
overtimes.
get to Colorado. And they go into
Kansas.
Kansas
Kansas
rolled up and got rolled up.
and got rolled up.
So can we lighten up on the Shakur, Dion?
Let me get into that topic real quick, guys. And again, as I said to Derek, this is for my benefit only.
Can we put a wet blanket over that?
Yeah, I mean, Brown's Twitter has been agog over Shadir Sanders wanting us to draft him in next year's draft.
Well, that's what he said about the Raiders too.
Yeah, number one, Shadir Sanders is overrated. I don't think he's a great quarterback. Number one. Number two, I don't want the drama that he brings to any team because of who his dad is.
His dad ain't gonna let him go to the Browns.
He's going to have more baggage than Samsonite.
Exactly.
Dion will not let him go to the Browns because of that same reason that every other quarterback that's gone to the Browns has failed.
Well, he's going to pull an Eli Manning, is what you're saying.
Basically.
Okay.
Pretty much. Not an Eli Manning, an Arch Manning.
They want the Browns to draft. They
Yeah.
want the Browns to draft Shadir Sanders. I don't want him.
Shador would have to be on a primetime football team in order to get what he wants. And that's what his father wants for him. He wants him to be with the Cowboys or one of the New York teams
He ain't
or
coming here.
the big city teams.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he can't go there. You guys locked up Dak the Sack.
I like that, Elliot. I like that, Elliot. I like that talk. Yes.
Sack the sack for $60 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sack
So
Sanders.
they're not bringing in nobody. They're not going to bring nobody into Dallas at this point.
But you know what? To top it all off, he got in a physical altercation with a referee last night too, and that just proves me that I want nothing to do with that kid. He's got an ego. He thinks his shit don't stink, and because his dad is Deion Sanders, he can do no wrong. I don't want that drama.
Where do you think he gets it from? You remember what Deion was like at that age?
Correct.
He comported himself
Deion
the
and
same
Shadur
way.
Sanders. Deion and Shadur Sanders are the
Shador is Deion 2.0.
or the LeBron James and Bronny James of football.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you see, there's a difference there because, like I said, Bronny is not on the same level as his
No,
dad.
Bronny's not as cocky as
or whatever.
He's
Shadur.
not as good as anybody in the NBA. He's not good enough to play in the
He's
NBA.
not good enough in the G League.
Yes.
No, but like I said, Deion in his days acted the fool, thinking he was God's gift to everything,
Yes.
football and otherwise. So you don't think the apple, the apple doesn't always fall far from the tree. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And that's why Shador might be that way. He might have inherited his dad's arrogance that his dad possessed in the formidable years that he played college football and then went into the NFL.
Right.
Difference is
The biggest difference between Shadur and Deion, Shadur still has all 10 of his toes. So
Oh, damn.
Ouch.
Ouch.
I had to go there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm offended because I don't have all 10 of mine either. But
No.
I did not know that.
you go right ahead.
I didn't know that. So I apologize.
As far as Travis Hunter is concerned, he's in the discussion for the Heisman Trophy,
Travis is the real deal.
and Travis is the
and
real
you know
deal.
what? He said his intention is to go to the NFL and play both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Said that earlier this week.
That's what
And
Deion did.
he's proven in Colorado that he can do that. But being in the NFL was a little bit different than than NCAA.
When someone's determined, they can move mountains.
Yep.
Okay. And it's not like it never used to be done by people who weren't as talented as he is.
Dion did it both ways at one point in time too. So
Charles Woodson.
Exactly. You know, so he's got to land on a team. First of all, he's got to land in an organization that's going to embrace that.
Right.
Okay, knowing now, do they pay him double because he's playing both?
No, they don't pay him double.
No, he'll be on that rookie contract.
Incentives. He might have incentives in his contract. If you do this on defense, if you do this on offense, you get this much. You know what I'm saying? He can make a mint. Hey, come on! What would the marketing? What would the marketing be like for somebody like that who can play two-way football and plays two-way football? Ain't nobody trying to do that shit these days. He'd be breaking some serious ground. I'll tell you that. That alone will make him a celebrity.
Well, and he's good at both positions. He's good at being as a defensive back, and he's good as a wide receiver.
And if he lands on the right team, in the right situation, he can make a move
on both offense and defense.
He's got to go somewhere where he can be marketed.
Yep.
For that.
Yeah.
And
we know where the capital of marketing is, don't we? New York.
Marketing is fantastic.
Or Dallas.
And we know the future. The future in that place is not
Dallas.
Tommy Cutlets. You know. He would probably wind up going to the Giants. That would be a good spot for him. Imagine him, Malik Neighbors, Slayton, them boys. Yep. I mean, you just get a decent quarterback in there. I don't know.
Can I get Tommy DeVito to deliver me a pizza?
He'll make it too. He'll deliver it.
Yep. Toss that crust.
But his specialty is cutlets.
There you go.
Not today, it wasn't.
No.
Yeah. Tommy
So who is their backup? If DeVito started, who's their backup now?
Drew Lock.
They should have went with him.
I'm still trying to figure out, did Josh Dobbs suffer a concussion or something? Because he should have been starting over Brad Allen today for the 49ers, just out of curiosity. Did he have a concussion or was he on? I mean, I know he was the backup.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs.
At least third string.
Last time
I think he was third string. That's why he didn't start.
He was
well, no, he got moved up to
that was
second
like
string.
4 or 5 weeks ago.
Out, but
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it could have been him. I don't know. I haven't seen him on the sideline.
I haven't either.
I didn't see him today.
So Birdie, he was there in that fat ass hoodie, camouflage hoodie.
Well, depending on what happens next week, it's either, well, it's a must win for the 49ers regardless. But say Seattle loses next week, you know, right now they're in last place, 1 game behind. So, but they got to win the rest of their division games, obviously, because they're 1-3 in the division.
Yeah, Seattle plays the Jets. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Seattle wins next week. They're playing
Seattle
the Jets.
plays who?
Seattle plays the Jets next week.
But where's it at? Is it in New York?
It's in New York.
They'll lose.
I could see once everyone gets healthy, I could see the Niners getting on a roll and winning that division.
The problem is everyone's not going to be healthy at the same time, and time is running short.
And they're running out of time. That's the problem. So
and that game next week, Wayne, is in prime time.
As long as that division stays as close as it is, I mean.
Right. As Al Michaels would say, the 49ers need to start winning with alacrity.
San Francisco at Buffalo, and the weather forecast is 29 degrees.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening for the 49ers next week.
Especially if, I can't even fault
Sunday night
Pat
game or
Allen
Monday
for
night
a
game?
turnover because that ball he threw to Debo Samuels. Debo looks out of sorts this year to me. The ball went right through his hand.
That run back that got called back because of a freaking penalty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And why don't they put
Debo
McCaffrey
needs to
and
go back
Jordan
wearing
Mason on the
19.
field at the same time? Why don't they put them on the field at the same time?
I think McCaffrey's still trying to get his wind. I mean, he's been gone for most of the season.
You got to
It's
also
only his
understand,
third game back.
Yeah, Jordan
You got
Mason was third in the league in rushing.
right, but they pay McCaffrey more money.
No, I understand that, but they need to put them both on the field at the same time. I mean, give the defense one more option to worry about.
You know, that's a
Debo needs
good
that 9
idea.
that's got one again.
in theory that works, or that could work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's not how McCaffrey plays.
No.
That's not his game. You know what I'm saying? That's why if anybody's going to be in the backfield with McCaffrey, is going to be Juszczyk to provide blocking.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they got to play McCaffrey. The money dictates that.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Mason.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what it comes down to. And right now, McCaffrey, he's not, you know what? He doesn't look the same. Why? Because I think deep down in his psyche, he's still thinking that he had tendonitis in his Achilles, both Achilles.
Both Achilles, yes.
He's worried that, what if one of those pops? What if he's not tendonitis anymore? So he could be running cautiously.
That's always a possibility.
McCaffrey runs. I'm noticing he doesn't have the burst. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That he's had in the past.
Yep.
So it could be a mind fuck that's going on with him. But we'll see. Because basically this is his second week back.
Third.
Mm-hmm.
Third. So basically he's still in preseason.
Yep.
Mode.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys. To close the show out, who do you got tonight? We got Philadelphia and the Rams tonight. It's in SoFi. You think the Rams get beat by the Eagles? I think the Eagles they're on a roll. So
I give it to the Eagles, although I know the Cowboy fan is going to pick the Rams.
No, actually, I think the Eagles will win.
I got the Eaglets.
Yeah, I think the Eagles got that one.
And
even with Devontae Smith out.
Yeah. And what about tomorrow night in the Harbaugh Bowl? Who do you like, the Ravens or the Chargers?
I like the Chargers at home. Chargers got a underrated defense.
I take the Chargers at home.
I want to say the Chargers at home, but I don't know. John just seems to have some dominance over Jim. So.
Well, not only that, but one thing you take into consideration is the Ravens can't score either.
Yep.
Well, it's not that.
And their secondary gets burned all the time.
It'll be a low-scoring game. I think
their defense can't stop nobody. It ain't gonna be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, the Ravens defense can't stop anybody.
The only reason that there's any doubt that the Ravens could go to the Super Bowl is because they don't have the defense to get them there.
Right. Yes, it's a very it's uncharacteristic defense for the Ravens. They got one of the best defenses in the league. Not this year.
And Justin Herbert, I mean, he ain't that bad. He could take a bad.
He's having a good year.
You know what I'm saying? He could shred a bad defense.
And Kent's favorite coach has got them Chargers going on a really good roll lately. So
far.
So you know
what?
That
McConkey kid is.
Oh, McConkey's awesome. I love that kid.
Yeah.
That lad is good.
Do you remember Phil McConkey?
Yes, I do.
Is that his kid?
Yes.
Yep.
It is his kid?
Yes.
Yep.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it's Phil's kid. I mean, how many people do you know with the last name McConkey? Come on, please.
Exactly.
Number 80 on the New York Giants.
Right.
All right, guys, let's close it out. Good show tonight. I will be posting this to the Spotify as well as to the blockchain. For those that want to watch the replay, I'll send those links out later. But on behalf of my co-hosts,
hang on before you do your personal outro.
Yes, go ahead.
Just to remind everybody that's watching our show for the first time or hasn't paid attention, the outro is no longer the standard as far as when we're on the air. We are
Correct.
only on Sundays from here on out.
Yeah,
Right.
only on Sundays at 7 o'clock going forward.
Disregard the commentary or the content that mentions Tuesday and Thursday, because
Right.
that no longer applies.
Yeah,
I'm
until
sorry,
Elliot
I
has time to put together a new
I haven't
outro.
had an
And that's,
opportunity to change the outro, so
Right.
we'll take it from there.
Well, Sunday is the standard, and remember, as Mike Tomlin says, the standard is the standard.
Standard is the standard.
Standardly.
yes. All right, on behalf of my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big E, the producer Lamba, Wayne, the Professor Lynch, and Ken Hotspot
No, just
Coslow.
Ken will do, okay? Let's not keep going there.
I am the sports nerd with a questionable connection myself tonight. And with that being said, we will return next Sunday. I will be back, guys. If you guys are going to be here, I will be here for Sunday. I'll be in my folks on Thursday, Friday, and part of Saturday, but I will be back for Sunday night's show. So if we all want to join and be together on next Sunday, I'll be here. So with all that being said, we will return again next Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And with that being said, Elliot, please play that outro that doesn't really count.
Peace out.
Thank you once again, Nerd Nation, for spending part, if not all of your evening with us here for this latest episode of the Sports Nerd Show. Please keep in mind that we do this on a regular basis every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. And since each night's start time is different, please check on our SNN group page on Facebook for the correct time. So until the next time we come together, Nerd Nation, on behalf of the Sports Nerd and his co-hosts, Ken Cosmo, John Olson, Wayne Lynch, and me, Big E, may your lives be filled with all the best sports action anyone human can handle, as well as
David's
all
in here.
bring you. And with all that said, good night, Nerd Nation, as the time has come to say